there's only 25 tickets. It's a really small event, and I've had about six people apologise. They can't make it. They want the replay, and that is absolutely fine. If you are here, it'd be lovely to have your cameras turned on so we can see your beautiful faces. Nick, good to see you. How are you? Vicky O, like royalty in the room. Good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, really good.
Good. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us.
You're
Um,
welcome.
a couple of people dropping through, so I'll be starting very, very shortly. Just making sure. Hi, Rachel. Good to see you. Can't see you got a microphone, but I can see you there. So you obviously working on your audio. Yeah, I can see your microphones there. Okay, guys, if you want to put your cameras on, it'd be lovely to see your beautiful faces. We're going to be about 30 minutes, 40 minutes maximum. I don't want to talk too long on this. I want to give you loads and loads of value. And if we, hi, Rachel, and let you get on with your days, wherever you are. It might be the beginning of your day, or it could be the end of your day. It is what it is. Okay, so my aim is always to make my sessions as interactive as absolutely possible. No one wants to sit at an event where you just sat being spoken at for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. We've all been there, we've all experienced it. So I do want it to be interactive. So just keep your ears and eyes open because I want you to start interacting as well. So firstly, let's just gauge the room and see where we are. So how many we've got? Two, four, five of us at the minute. I'm expecting some more to come through. Let me just get me there. Okay, cool. Okay, so let's gauge the room. Who is currently using email in the business today? If you're using email right now, and when I say what do I mean by using email, you're sending an email, a couple of emails every month or more. Drop a number one in the chat. Let me get the chat open. That would be useful, wouldn't it, Rich? So if you're sending one or two emails or more a month, drop a number one in the chat. Okay, Rachel? 1-to-1 time per week so far. Okay, cool. Okay, nice. Okay, so you're using email as well. It's such an interesting and emotive subject, email, and so many people don't seem to be using it. So many coaches don't seem to be using it. But I think I've worked out the reasons why, and we'll cover that all today. So, currently working, but I'll be paying attention with the whole team and thankful to learn from you. Nick, it's great to see you. Thank you for joining me today. I guess it's quite early in your world, so yeah, good to see you. And you don't, Vicky, I don't use email as much as I used to. Okay. Well, I, yeah, my intention is to make you think about email differently after these 30 minutes are over. Okay. So that's the first one. Now, is your email list generating you any money? Is your email list generating you new clients and cash? If it is, drop a number two in the chat. Let's see. So if you're making money out of your email list, drop a number two. Not yet. Okay. Thanks for sharing that, Rachel. So if you've generated any new clients or anything that's come from an email, then drop a number two in the chat. While you're thinking about that, the third and final one right now is okay. That's an honest share, Vicky. Thanks for sharing that. Not reading the last 12 months. So then the number three, the next one I was going to do is drop a number three if your list has generated you money each month consistently for the last 3 months. But I'm guessing we're not going to have that in the room. So you can see where we are. People are using email a little bit, or maybe they've used email previously, but they're not using it consistently now, and it's not getting the results they can be, and it should be. So, if you've got any questions, by all means, stick your virtual hand up, stick your real hand up. I'm trying to look at you all and look at the screen at the same time. I am running it all solo. Solo on my own, but I'm sure I can see you if you stick your hand up. Keep it interactive, and it's not a problem at all. But as I've said to you already, my intention is by the end of these 30 minutes, I want you to think differently about using email and get you to start using it more and using it, making it more effective. And as I say, if we've got time at the end, I'm more than happy to do a quick Q&A, so it's not a problem at all. The other thing I like to do, and I'll stick this in the chat, if you hear something that I say, and it's a little nugget of information, I think makes you think, aha, or that's really useful. Can you drop a hashtag nug in the chat? Hashtag nug, which is short for nugget. when you get to know me better, you'll know that I'm quite lazy and I don't want to spell the whole world nugget. Just put hashtag nug and what it was. Give me a word about what that thing was that lands with you. So anything that you hear, you think, aha, that's a really useful point, or and I didn't know that. Something that's really useful. Drop me a hashtag nug, and that'll be really useful in the chat. So my aim for this short session today is to cover everything from how to craft effective emails to building a successful email marketing campaign. And we are going to be really, really quick. So some of you know me, some of you don't know me. I've got a couple of screens and don't worry, quite particularly, I don't like it. So those of you who don't know me, this is pretty much me on one page. So you got my three kids, Karis, Theo, and Maisie, top left-hand corner. Me and the wife, actually, God, we got married December 21st last year, and we have a real passion for traveling. So we made a plan. December 2021, we made a plan after all the lockdowns and pandemics, all that nasty stuff that we'd gone through. And our plan was basically we wanted to spend at least one night each month out of the family home, and we weren't even living together then. Pretty well, not officially anyway, and just be somewhere else. So as you can see, we've done so much traveling over the last 3 years, from Far East to all over the UK, and I've got so much more planned for this year. Just returned last week from a beautiful week up in the Scottish Highlands and the Isle of Skye, which was amazing. Epic photos, and the skies were just beautiful, but very much drives me to be a better version of myself and to see more of the world. I've coached for almost 25 years now, and my background is very heavy from the IT industry. I won't bore you for hours, but I took one IT company from 6 mil to 48.5 mil over 12.5 years. So 6 million Great British pounds, 6.2 million Great British pounds, all the way up to 48.5 million Great British pounds over 12.5 years. And I did have a full head of hair when I started there, but that's another story for another day. And then basically, I launched my coaching business, Minerva Growth, in 2016. And basically, we help online coaches gain predictable clients and scale past 20K months. So this is what we're going to be covering today. Very, very short, very concise. I'll give you the first best practice and get my words out. Google have recently gone through some changes this year, 2024. You know, we're only in the middle of March now, but Google has made some changes in the last 2 weeks. So you always want to be using a personalized email address rather than a Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, AOL I see from time to time, just because they're going to penalize you. And they're going to presume that anyone who's using a Gmail, a AOL, Hotmail, that it's going to be spam, and you've got a much higher percentage chance of going straight into the junk or the spam folder. So what I mean by personalized URL is minervagrowth.co.uk is our URL for the website. So I use info at minervagrowth.co.uk. So that's a personalized email address. The honestly, we use plenty of other ones as well, but info is our main one. So info at minervagrowth.co.uk. There is no excuse now why you can't use a personalized email address if you're not, because the point of entry is so low cost. You know, you can often pick up a domain now for $1, for a year, or a deal, maybe $10, maybe $20 at the very, very most. And then they probably charge you $2 or $3 a month or pound, depending on where you are, to actually set up an email account. And honestly, I can do it. Trust me, you can do it. If I can do it, you can absolutely do it yourselves as well. And there's so many easy ways of doing it. So there's no excuse why you shouldn't be using a personalized email address. And it just looks a little bit more professional. You know, if you got an email from me at yahoo.com, the first thing I think when I receive an email from Yahoo or AOL, I mean, AOL, it's so long in the tooth. It's like 24, 25 years ago. And I still do see it, probably one a month. So you know that someone's still paying AOL for that when they've probably got internet elsewhere. But to me, it looks a little bit unprofessional. I'll say it. In my view, it looks a little bit unprofessional. So you always want to have a personalized email address. And the most important thing for that is you've got less chance of going into spam and junk folders. And that's a recent update from Google, but yeah, that is really hot off the press. The other thing I want you to think about is that every email address you collect is worth around $10 to you right now. So every email address you collect is worth about $10. That is so important. And the reason why the reason where that value comes from, that $10, is because that's what it's going to cost you on average as a coach to collect one email address using Facebook ads. It'll cost you about $10. So coaching is quite an expensive niche to be using for ads. And on average, you're going to find it's going to cost you about $10, $10 to get one email address. So think about that is your collateral. That is your, if you've got an email list of 100 people, then, you've saved yourself that amount of money. It's a lot. There's also another train of thought that depending on the size of your email list, you should be able to generate, your email list should be worth to you around $1 per person, per email address per month from your list. So I'm not going to patronize you. If your list is 10,000 in size, then you know what you should be generating each month from your email list. If you think you've got 10,000 people, each of them, they should be generating you $1, £1, wherever you are located. That shows you what you should be getting from your email list. So if you aren't generating funds from it, this is what this session is all about, is to help you make a difference. So the three areas we're going to be covering today, you can see in front of you. Crafting effective emails, using email to build stronger relationships, and email marketing for coach. And then my final point for you, move on to the final slide, which is slide 4. You'd be glad to know that this is the final slide for today. And it's probably the worst one, but I'll explain why that in a minute, why that is. There's no sales zone. There's an absolutely sales-free zone today. I've got nothing to sell you at all. I'm not trying to push anything. You are here not to be sold at. I just want to educate you, provide value, and make you just think about email that a little bit differently. So I've already warned you, this is the worst slide, and absolutely, because it's the one that kills me. This is the one that kills me. So why aren't coaches using email? And I would say, in my opinion, it's all around these little 4 words. This is where all the issues stem from. And this word is going to either confuse you or scare the crap out of you, as it seems to, the reaction for the majority of people. And that simple word is GDPR. GDPR. And GDPR stands for the General Data Protection Regulation. I'm not going to read all the text on there. If you want to copy the slides, just drop me a message afterwards and I will share that with you. But my belief is you need to have a basic understanding of what GDPR is. It's been around since 2016. I've highlighted a few key things, but it's all about protecting individuals' rights over what happens to your data. And that's the biggest thing. Now, the most important thing I would say to you is, and why you need to be aware of GDPR, is because of this very bottom paragraph here, is because this law that came out in 14th of April 2016, so almost 8 years ago, has now been modelled by Turkey, Mauritius, Chile, Japan, Brazil, South Korea, South Africa, Argentina, and Kenya. Even though for those of us in the UK, we're not an EU state anymore. We're going to start talking about politics and Brexit, but we are still using it. And even the California Consumer Privacy Act, the CCPA, which was adopted on the 20th of June 2018, is very, very similar to GDPR in a number of ways. So, so many people, all the way back in 2016 and 2015 and 2014, made a lot of money, these consultants, by scaring the shit out of everyone about email and using email and GDPR. And what actually happened, the result of that is that most people deleted their email lists. Where at the time I was telling people, just don't panic, just sit on it, just be calm until we understand how it's going to affect us. So many people deleted years and years and years of huge thousands and thousands of emails were deleted. And it's crazy. All I'd say to you is, my motto in life is very, very simple. It's treat people as you expect to be treated yourself. And what I mean by that is, if you wouldn't want it done to you, then don't do it to others. And that's really, really simple. And, use that philosophy with your email and you won't go far wrong. There's a couple of differences selling to business and selling to consumers, but you're always recommended with businesses. Businesses, if you feel that I'm sending you an email as a business and I feel that you've got an interest, you should have an interest in my products or services, then I'm allowed to email you. Consumers are a little bit different and they should really be opting in. But again, I recommend that you just look at GDPR, and this is where we use things like lead magnets, which are so effective because people sign up to request your lead magnet. You can you're covering yourself because they've asked for it, and then you can add them to your email list. And the other thing you need to do is make sure whatever email solution you're using, and I'm going to be very unspecific here about using email systems. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of System.io, and I'll share you a link. It is free in its basic form. There's things like solutions out there like MailerLite. We've used MailerLite a lot. I know MailChimp, or MailChimp as you like to call it, is quite popular out there. I haven't used MailChimp for a long, long time. They're always just trying to make it more. They want you to spend money. They want you to invest and subscribe. And there are decent systems out there. In my opinion, my humble opinion, there's many, many better systems out there than MailChimp. MailerLite's good. System.io is amazing, and the free version is completely free of charge. And I don't even limit you to how many people can be in your email list. But as I said, I will share you a link. You can go and check it out yourself if you're not using it. And it's a decent all-round mailing marketing tool. I highly recommend you never cold call, never cold DM, and never cold email, because again, I hate that being done to me. So why would I want to do it to other people? And you must always give people the option to unsubscribe in every email. And then in each email from me, you've all had emails from me, so you would have seen what we do. So you get an unsubscribe option at the bottom, which is absolutely fine. And then there's a paragraph which says something like, and this is not verbatim, but it's something like, you are receiving this email as you're either a client, or you have been a client, or you've expressed an interest in our products or services. And that's it. It's as simple as that. And by having those two things, the unsubscribe and that little message there, keeps you compliant. So simple as that. Simple as that. Right, slides are gone. We're down. So how do you get people onto your email list is always the first question. How do we grow our email list? So if you think, the danger with social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Pinterest is you are in absolute zero control of those platforms. And part of the reason why I'm doing this today is that last week, was it Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday? I can't remember. For about 2 or 3 hours, Facebook and Instagram seemed to lock most of the world population out. And there were so many people losing their minds because they couldn't be doing any marketing for their businesses because they're relying so much on someone else's platform. And when those platforms are down, they were absolutely stuck, freaking out. I've also heard that LinkedIn was down at some point last week, but to be honest, it'd probably take me a month to realize LinkedIn was down, but that's just my own personal preference. My rule is the reality is you can't build a business on someone else's foundations. Mark Zuckerberg is a very clever person. Facebook and Instagram are very, very powerful, but Facebook and the Facebook police and Facebook jail is a very relevant thing. And I've had problems, and we've had problems all this year. We've been warned about sending so many DMs and what are you doing here? And these aren't cold DMs as well. You've always got to be careful when you're working on someone else's foundation, someone else's platforms. It's always good practice, as I'm sure you can agree, to have and to be in control of your own data. Now, saying that, I don't own System.io, and there's always a risk using a third-party email provider, and I absolutely get that. But best practice tells you that you always want to download a copy of your email data at least once a month. My recommendation is you set a reminder, and then on the first of the month, you just download your data. So you've got an updated version and always updated. You've only got one version of it, it's always the most up to date. And if you're liking that, then maybe do it twice a month. But it's never caught me out, touch wood. You always want to be careful, just in case I wake up one morning and the System.io is gone, it's been locked out, my account's been closed, I've got my data, I can move on to another platform, set it up account. And if the worst comes to the worst, I can use Outlook and I can send everyone an email really, really quickly and just a blind copy the email so no one gets everyone else's email address as well. And that's my backup plan. But you could jump onto, if I have to jump on MailChimp, then I'll jump on MailChimp and upload my data and start sending emails out again. So that's the first way. So you always want to make sure you're using a decent web provider and you email provider, and you've got a copy of your data. Websites are great to help you grow your list, but this is where a lot of web builders don't agree with what I say, and I'm happy to put that out there and have this conversation with you afterwards. No problem at all. Because when web builders build, most of web builders aren't very strong marketeers. So when they build your website, you might spend, £5,000, build a website. It looks absolutely beautiful, images of you and everything, and the copy is amazing. They seem to put the email boxes at the time. You want to add, if you want to add mailing list, it's always at the bottom of the page. And the reality is no one ever scrolls to the bottom of the page, and I never do. So my recommendation, if you're in control of your website or you've got someone who's looking after your website and building it for you, is always get this subscribe to our email list right at the top of the page, or even use the pop-up. You might find pop-ups annoying, but you know what? They work and just catch people's attention. Oh, you know what? I like Vicky. I like what she does. I want to join her mailing list and see what else she does. So websites can be useful for you as long as you're driving traffic to them. Always get your opt-in, your subscribe to newsletters at the top of the page. And then I've mentioned them already. Lead magnets are great for collecting email addresses. The strategy has been around for a long time. I give you this, and in return, your payment is you give me your email address, and it's as simple as that. And it could be you're collecting email address, could be their location, could be their phone number, name, etc., etc. And it's a given that I can give you this great value. This is going to be really useful for you, and in return, you give me your email address. And that way, people are opting in, and you are legit entitled to email them. I also recommend, one quick other tip is, whenever you're giving someone a lead magnet, is that you always send it via email and not through a DM, because you're not going to collect their email address. And we already know that an email address is worth £10 or $10 to you, so you're saving yourself that spend on adverts in the future. So that's the second way of generating, building your email list. And then the third I'll give you today are webinars, masterclasses. Very, very useful things like this are a great way of getting in front of people, grabbing their data from that social platform, that social media platform, and then you are able to email that person. And that's absolutely fine. Now, by following those simple strategies, you can add tons and tons and tons. And I would say 3 figures and more of emails to your list each month, as long as your audience can see that you offer enough value in what you do. As I said already, just treat people as you expect to be treated yourself. And then if your lead magnet, for example, is related to your coaching program, then they're going to be potentially interested in everything you're doing in the future, and there's a good chance they're going to be a client of yours. I've already talked about sharing the lead magnet as an email and not through a direct message, because it's just crazy. And then I will share with you now, if you've never used System.io, use a link and have a look. I highly recommend you look at it. We've been using it now for about 2.5 years. We've done a stack of due diligence and checking. It's always a big thing for me to move to any platform, from one platform to another. So we did a stack of work to make sure it is suitable. But yeah, we recommend it to a lot of people. We've got a lot of people on there, and there we are. There's a link. It's just an affiliate link, and you never know. At one point, I might make $2 or something, or buy a beer or something. You never know. But after all the email systems we've used over the years, System.io is the one we go back to, and just really easy to use and very easy to get the reporting out of, and it just works. Just works. Okay, so moving on. Part 1: crafting effective emails. So, how do you build and craft effective emails? Whether you're communicating with your clients, or you're following through leads, or you're reaching out to colleagues that you work with, or people you want to collaborate with, it's always important to make sure that your emails are clear, they're concise, and they're compelling. So clear, concise, and compelling. And the things that you need to be thinking about are, it's dissecting your data, understanding your audience, and tailoring your email to their needs. So when I talk about that, I wouldn't send the same email to an ideal client or a future ideal client as I would send to a client. So they're going to think I'm crazy. So you always want to be dissecting your data. Dicing and segmenting your data is really, really powerful. And again, System.io allows you to do that. You can tag people, you can break it down. I think one of the reasons I got frustrated with MailChimp a long time ago is they stopped you doing it unless it was a paid for account. And then when you have the paid account, it's just really clunky way of doing it. So again, it's another great reason why to look at System.io. You when you've niched down, and all coaches talk about niche and how important it is, but the reason being that if you niche down, you understand your audience, you understand your future potential clients, you understand exactly who you are talking to and the kind of language and the kind of topic and the kind of value they're going to appreciate and find interesting. And again, talk about segmenting. I recommend at the very, very least, you have at least 2 different lists on your email, one being clients and one being future clients or prospects, because they're both so different and need to be treated very, very differently and also different value. And then when you are getting more and more advanced, you can then dissect those separate lists down into more and more. People have attended previous events, people have signed up for an event and not shown up. Lists of people who have downloaded a specific lead magnet. And again, slicing and dicing makes your data really, really powerful for you. It's all about showing the information to the people who are interested. Show the information to the people who are interested. And Nick, I can see your hashtag notes, so thanks for sharing that. So next, let's move on to the writing subject lines that grab attention. Writing subject lines that grab attention. Everyone knows that as human beings, our lives in 2024 are crazy, crazy busy. We're all busy. We're all running at 100 miles an hour, busy and moving around and lots going on all the time. Your subject line is the first thing that your prospects or your clients are going to see. And as all marketing, they have got 3 to 5 seconds to decide, am I going to read this email or not? So I'm a firm fan of dropping an emoji in the subject and the email subject as well, and make it so that they just think, this looks good. You want to curb their curiosity. What I want to know more about this. So let me click on the email, because they may get 100 emails a day, and if they all, I'll delete. I do it. I go through my emails very, very quickly, decide what I'm going to open really, really quickly, and I'm sure you're no different, and I'm sure your future clients are no different as well. They will make a decision based on the quality of the email subject as to whether they're even going to open your email. So your email subject is really, really important. So how do you create email subject lines that are going to resonate with your audience? So again, we talked about niche already. I'm not going to talk about niche much more, but if it's a previous version of you that you're selling to, that that you've been in their shoes, the pain points they've got, what will work with them. And then you can use AI. I'm not going to go into AI too much on here, but honestly, ChatGPT is pretty good for email subject lines. It's not difficult to get amazing subject lines and, give you some great ideas. I think it's always important to make sure you personalize it if you're using AI, because it can come across as being very, very cold. But the more you use it, the more you train it, the more it's going to get better and in tune to you. And again, I could probably spend an hour and do a whole complete session just on subject lines alone. I'm not going to do that at all. So just very, very quickly, you want to hook their attention immediately. You can have fun with them, using things like rhymes, song lyrics, and or emojis at the same time. Always a good way to stop people and get them curious to see what's in the email. Maybe ask a question in the email subject, make a statement. I always recommend you write conversationally, that you write the way you speak, and people appreciate that, and it just makes them a little bit more formal. But again, it depends what feels right for you as a coach. And then keep it brief. You've got anywhere between 30 and 50 characters. Keep it brief for your email subject. And then the final point on it is I always recommend a bit of A/B testing. A/B testing, if you're split testing, you may know it. So you write 3 to 5 different subject lines for every email that you go out with, and use the one that's most popular, and then replicate that. And again, it works Split testing or A/B testing works really well with automated email sequences that are being sent time and time again. And you'll see if you can get your open rates higher and higher and higher, it's in your interest. So, next point: keep your email short and to the point. And what else can I say? Keep it short, keep it to the point. You don't need to be waffling on. Most people will just read the first paragraph of the email and that's it. And I'm exactly the same. I'll read the first few lines. If I'm getting bored, you've hooked me with your subject line. I'll then read the first couple of lines of the email paragraph. And if it's boring me, then it ain't going to go any further. If you caught my attention, then I'll sit there and read it. If I see a really, really long email, 30, 40, 50, 60, I don't know, 100 lines, then it's probably going to lose my attention again because we're busy, and I'm sure you're the same. The first couple of lines are critical. They are crucial about whether that person is going to read the rest of your email. The next point I'll say to you is, and it depends how this feels with you, we've all spent years and years learning English in education. Now, my advice to you is forget it. It doesn't matter. Be yourself. There are zero rules this day and age. But the caveat to that is, if it feels okay with you and your future ideal client is okay with that, then just write as you want to. Right? People make up words all the time, and if that's comfortable with you, that's absolutely fine. You don't. If I was working with lawyers and solicitors, and obviously I'd be using very, very good English, very, very high levels of grammar, but I'm working with coaches, so I would tend to write very, very conversationally. And you know what? I don't follow the rules anymore because the way we use English is changing all the time. I don't tend to use dear John, dear Nick, dear Vicky, or hi Vicky, or I will tend to go straight in after the question, or maybe tell them what your biggest problem right now is this. I can help you. So you'll speed up the process. It doesn't need to be personalized anymore. Some people like personalization, some people don't. I've gone both ways, and right now we don't personalize the emails at all. I believe you want to use a clear call to action in your emails as the next point. Got about 10 minutes, guys, and we'll be done. Include a clear call to action. Just think, this person is reading my email. What do I want them to do next? What is the next thing I want them to do? How do I want them to feel? What's the next step I want them to take? But also, don't overuse your call to action or your CTA. If you put a call to action in every single email you send, it's going to appear as spamming, and all you're interested in is selling, sell. So the other thing is, if you are using a call to action, best practice is to use no more, ideally one, and definitely no more than two, because you are risking confusing your audience. And as I always like to quote, remember that a confused mind takes no action. A confused mind takes no action. To keep it really, really simple, stupid. One call to action, maybe two at the very most. And then the same thing is, the more URLs, web addresses, and that kind of stuff you add to your emails, the more chance you've got of a spam filter picking you up and blocking you. Because the email providers are trying to protect their users and keep them using the email as much as they possibly can and protect them from all spam. So if it's feeling like it's going to be spam, then you're going to end up in the junk. But as I already said, is do what feels right for you. Do what feels right for you. I've mentioned, you don't have to use a call to action in every email. We don't do that in any way at all. So I'm going to cover personalization of emails really, really quickly. There's a train of thought that by personalizing your emails, you can build stronger relationships, dear Rich. But my view on that is that we all actually know these days that it's a mass email being sent out. You know that I'm not, when you've had emails from me from booking onto this event today, I'm not sat there and ping you an email individually, all of you. It's done automatically, and everyone knows that, and everyone's I believe, quite accepting of that fact. But again, I recommend you test both versions, dear Rich or hi coach or whatever, and see what works for you and see what results you get. Okay, so next section, use an email to build stronger relationships. Use an email to build stronger relationships. I'm a firm fan that email is a great way to build stronger relationships with your clients and your future clients. So 4 points I'm going to cover are, number one, you want to send regular check-ins and updates to stay top of their minds. your future clients and your clients, you know, make sure that they're always thinking about you. And when they, you know, maybe they're a future client and they're not quite ready for coaching right now. Maybe they don't need a business coach right now, but maybe in a week or a month they may do. Whatever we think, we are never at the top of the mind of our future clients because they've got their own agenda, they've got their own life going on, they've probably got busy with kids, etc., working, doing other things, coaching their clients. Just sending regular emails is going to help those future clients not to forget about you. Two things I always talk about that you need to grow your coaching business. The two things are patience and consistency. And where I see coaches falling down is they forget one of those things or both of those things on a frequent basis. And what I mean by that is there is no need to be there's absolutely no point in sending out loads of emails for a month and then not a single email for 3 months. It's just pointless because they're going to forget about you. The question that always comes up at this point is, well, how often should I be emailing? And what I'd say to you is you send your emails as frequently as to remain in their mind and to jog their memory. And depending on your niche, it's going to be different and the content you're sharing. So just test it and do what feels right for you. People always get very upset at first around people unsubscribing from their list. So what I'd say to you is a quick reframe about that and look at unsubscribes as being a good thing, because all it shows you is that that person is unsubscribed from you. They don't want to know any more about what you're doing, so you don't have to waste any more of your time or invest any more time in them. So unsubscribes are good. Unsubscribes are absolutely fine. It's not a problem at all. It means that they're not interested, so don't waste your time in them. Next point is using your email to provide value and to share useful information. Always offer amazing value and show your expertise. Show you're an expert in your area. Always respect your future clients' time. That now they've opened your email to show off your knowledge and expertise. Don't waste their time because they're going to pee people off and they'll unsubscribe. Also, if you can, is responding promptly to your email to show you're engaged and interested. So this is another industry best practice. Again, it depends on your business and your niche, but my take on that is that I will always respond to an email within 24 hours, and then I'll take the conversation off email and back into social media, Messenger or WhatsApp or something. I will move that conversation away from email because email for me is not a conversational place. I want to use it to catch people's attention, hook them on something else, and I'll move that conversation somewhere else. And that'll probably be Messenger, WhatsApp, or maybe Telegram. But I always start it on email, but then move fast. If you don't respond to an email for a week or a month, what does that say about you? And then use email to connect, to collaborate, and to build your network. And this for me is things like other coaches, joint ventures or JVs. I love the strategy of working with other coaches, and it's always a great way of extending your network. So finally, part 3 is email marketing specifically for coaches. And we've got about 5 minutes. Don't worry, I will be finished pretty damn quickly. So I hope in the last 40 minutes, you are starting to understand why you need to be using email marketing more and how powerful it really is, but also how ridiculously cost effective it is. Because for 9 times out of 10, it's going to cost you your time. There's no actual investment you need to put into the email. So building your email list and segmenting your data, your audience. Every time you meet someone, is add them to your list. I recommend that at the end of each week, if you're an online coach like me, you've been meeting lots of people, you should go through your calendar and add those people onto your email list. You also, the next point is, at the very least, you also always want to have an automated welcome email sequence. And that's the very least expectation I would have. Whether it's 1 email, 2 emails, 4 emails, 12 emails, and maybe 1 a week is probably a good basis and a good space between each emails at the very, very beginning. So if you're not using auto emails or auto emails welcome sequences right now, I highly recommend you do. So when someone is added to your list, you're telling them what to expect, how often they're going to get emailed, and most importantly, how to unsubscribe if they're no longer interested. And I've talked about not overthinking unsubscribe. You know how I think about that and that reframe that you need. So creating effective email campaigns that drive results. don't expect everyone's going to see every single email you send. Same as posting on social media. No one's going to see every single post you put out there. I highly recommend you mix up the copy, but use the same call to action or the C2A, and that will continue to get results for you. You can cross-purpose the information you're sharing on your social media posts and you put that into an email, and you may catch someone who hasn't seen your social media. So the other thing is, how can you produce the best email campaign? Well, I highly recommend you hire a copywriter, because the difference you'll see is just off the charts. Don't just rely on AI. I know there's so many coaches jumping around about this brand new object, this shiny object being AI. The reality is AI has been around forever. Everyone's been using AI forever, whether you've even thought about it or not. But using AI to me is very, very cold. You can use AI to start off the content, but then just make it personal and make it yours, and it'll make a huge difference. But using a copywriter will absolutely blow you away. And if you've not used copywriter so far, just having that conversation will change your mind. And again, if you want some good copywriters, I've got a few that we use, and they are honestly amazing. Last 2 points: use an email to promote your services and special offers. So it could be a new product launch, new webinar, a new training event like this. It could be a Black Friday offer, depending on the time of the year. It could be a Happy New Year. It could be an outage example. So when the Instagram and Facebook were down last week, everyone got a quick email from me by the end of the day. And so many people came back and said, "Oh my God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the email. I was losing my mind. I thought I'd been locked out. I thought I'd been hacked. Seeing your email actually made me realize everyone was in the same boat." And it's a really good way just to build up and warm up that list as well. And then the most important thing is doing all this activity is to make sure that you measure the success of your email marketing efforts, and making improvements and making little tweaks. I don't look at them. I've seen people before, they send an email out and they sit watching the graphs and watching those charts the whole time, and they don't do anything else, which is completely pointless. I would recommend you look at your stats at the end of each week, and definitely, especially once a month. Don't sit looking at them all the time, because you've got more important things to do. And also, it's going to take some time for people to open the emails in different time zones. If you're working globally like we do, that you just give them some time to open those emails and to digest it. So give it, weekly measurement is cool. Definitely monthly is really, really important. So just to wrap it up very, very quickly, conscious of the fact I'm running a little bit over. Hopefully now that you can see how important email is and what an amazing tool it is, because when everyone's losing their mind last week, and Instagram, LinkedIn was down for a time, Facebook was off for a time, you can carry on working, you can carry on that conversation and still be reaching out to people as well. And honestly, if you follow these tips and strategies I've covered in this masterclass, you are well on your way to mastering email and taking your coaching business to the next level. So, do we have any questions? Is there anything? I felt that was a little bit fast. So if anyone's got any questions and it wasn't particularly clear, now is the time. Failing that, I will leave you to get on with the rest of your day. The other example, go for it, Rachel. If you want to mute yourself, that's fine.
You can give the other example first if you want.
Yeah, I'm going to forget, don't you? You know me too well now. What we do in Minerva Growth when we coach it is we always literally know what we do. So whatever we do, we recommend you do the same. So you would have seen for this event is that once you registered for the event, you got an email. And then you get an email 24 hours ago. Then you get an email to say you've got 6 hours to go. And you got an email to say it's going to be an hour. You got an email to say it's going to be 15 minutes away. Then you got an email to say we're actually going live now. And it's the best way to be, because if people are interested in the content, then they're not going to want to miss it. And I've talked about, we've all got busy lives, and people do forget these. They register for these things, but then they don't turn up because they've forgotten about it or done something else, or they haven't picked up their email maybe. So again, it's just another way of helping you get there. So again, you can replicate the kind of stuff we've been doing. And I've just dropped the link into the chat again for System.io. Anyway, Rachel, your turn. Over to you.
Thank you. I actually have 3 questions, so I'll try to ask them really quickly.
Go for it.
Earlier, my question was, one person said she gets so much junk she would prefer direct message and didn't give me her email address. Should I just send it to her via DM and cut my losses?
I would, I would. If someone's adamant they don't want an email, but I would always. So I've gone through a phase of having loads and loads of emails and loads of junk. And for me, best practice is I would always unsubscribe. I would always unsubscribe, and I've seen a rise this year in people using email without any unsubscribes in there, which is again, it's a breach. You now know it's a breach of GDPR. I'll block them. So they go into a junk folder and never even get. I'll go for it very very quickly and just delete them all in one go. If someone's an anti-email, it's not worth having that battle. Just DM them.
Okay. And then if someone doesn't, okay, so when you said earlier about doing A/B testing, if someone doesn't open A, but B gets opened by a lot of people, do we resend the whole email to A with B's message?
Yeah, great question. Love that. Great question. I would say if it feels right for you, do it. Personally, I do that. I haven't got a problem. Some people don't like doing it. I don't have a problem. It's whatever's comfortable with you. Because if they haven't opened the email, they haven't read it anyway, they're going to get it for the first time. You got another chance of them opening that email. So yeah, that's what I would do. That
Okay.
as long as it feels right for you.
Yeah. And then okay, so then include a clear call to action. Okay, yeah. So you said 1 or 2 at the most. And I'm kind of wondering, did you mean like 1 or 2 call to actions per month?
Per email. If you are going to send a call to action, I don't tend to send a call to action or a CTA in every email, but often we will do. And then if you are going to put a call to action in, so like we went through yesterday, I use the buttons. So like you would have seen the emails for today, if you've seen the emails, hopefully. Click here to join the session. So that's one really simple, really easy way of just managing that call to action to you. Yeah, and then sometimes I'll put a URL in there, a hyperlink that will be in the email as well, but never more than 2.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. You're very welcome. Any more for any more? Great questions, by the way, Rachel. Thank you for asking them. Very good questions. Okay. Right, so next steps are you will get over the next couple of days, you'll get a quick 1-pager which has got all the main points on there, which I hope will just embed that into your minds and help you with that. Nick, thank you so much for your positive feedback. I love that. We need to catch up soon, and it's as simple as that. If I can help anyone in any way, please reach out. Yeah, and I just hope now you've seen the benefits of why you should be emailing more and using the email and sending email out. So yeah. Enjoy, get some great results, and keep in contact.